the likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford? It would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkarash know each other, and then we wanna.
After months of rumors, whispers, and talks behind closed doors, the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford was finally set in stone. Boxing fans all over the world couldn't believe it. They both decided to fight each other in September 2025. Two of the best athletes in the world going up against each other seemed like a dream come true. But now that Canelo pulled out, things may be very different.
The Sheik said that he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, hands down.
That'll work. Yeah, so if yeah, you're in.
Both Canelo and Crawford went to the prestigious Ring Magazine Awards in London. It was there that talks with Turki Alalshik, the head of boxing in Saudi Arabia, took a big step forward. Alalshik, who is now one of the most important people in boxing, worked hard to get the fight set up. The internet went crazy with pictures of both boxers posing with him after their fight. Fans were thrilled when reputable sources, like ESPN, knockout journalist Julius Julianus, said the deal was official.
And some breaking news. This guy, Julius Julianus, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between...
This isn't just any fight. It's the start of a historic event that could define an age. At 168 pounds, Canelo Alvarez was the best super middleweight fighter. He was going to fight Terence Crawford, who was the WBA champion at 154 pounds, was willing to move up to weight classes to make the fight happen. Crawford knew it was a risky move, but he was ready to face the task head-on. This fight was not a sure thing for Canelo, who was beaten at 168 pounds. He felt he had little to gain and a lot to lose after Crawford beat Edgar Berlanga and called him out. Canelo rejected the idea, saying, "If I beat him, people will just say he's too small." But things had changed. Canelo seemed more open to the idea now, and during the awards weekend, he said, "There's always a chance. We'll see, but there's always a chance anything is possible."
Can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because everybody.
Crawford, on the other hand, had been waiting for this time. At 37 years old, he knew he didn't have much time left in the sport, but he also knew this fight could take his reputation to another level. He had already conquered for weight classes, but becoming a 5'8" world champion by beating Canelo Alvarez would be the ultimate success. It would be the kind of moment that boxer fans talk about for generations. The payday for both fights would be massive. Alalshik had offered a deal that would make this one of the most lucrative fights in boxing history for Crawford. It was a chance to secure his financial future while seeking greatness. For Canelo, it was a chance to prove once again why he's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world.
No, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know.
But just as things seemed to be falling into place, doubts started to creep in. The same problems that had delayed the fight before are back. The biggest worrying is still the weight difference. Canelo is a natural super middleweight, strong and powerful at 168 pounds. Crawford, on the other hand, would have to gain 14 pounds to reach that weight. That's a lot for any fighter. And it's not just about adding muscle. It's about keeping speed, stamina, and strength against a naturally bigger opponent. Canelo's past comments about the fight resurfaced, reminding everyone why this matchup had been so tough to arrange. He had said before, "I have nothing to gain and everything to lose." He is still small for me even now with the fight seeming confirmed. Those doubts hadn't disappeared fully.
Since we're on the same topic, what do we think about this fight with Canelo and Crawford if it's at 168?
Him saying it's an easy fight, he's out of his damn mind.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're the most comfortable.
For Crawford, though this was a challenge he was ready to face, he knew the risks, but he also knew the reward. Beating Canelo Alvarez would make him one of the greatest fighters of all time. It would be a moment that erased any doubts about his greatness, and for someone who had already achieved so much, this fight felt like the perfect way to cap off an incredible career. Both fighters had their own motivations. For Canelo, the pool of challengers at 168 pounds was drying up. He had already beaten some of the best fighters in the division, and there weren't many big-name opponents left to fight with. Crawford offered something fresh, something exciting. For Crawford, it was about proving himself against the best, even if it meant stepping into unfamiliar territory.
Well, based on last fight, is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those three last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50-50.
Fans were split between excitement and nervousness. They wanted to see the fight, but they also knew how fragile these deals could be. The talks had moved quickly, but that didn't mean everything was set in stone. Alalshik himself added to the tension with his cryptic words, "The ring is the Bible of boxing, and we are close to seeing the white smoke on the horizon." 2025 will be a crazy year for boxing, and I mean it. The excitement was real, but so were the obstacles. Both fighters have to face their own doubts and make sacrifices to make this fight a reality. Canelo has to get past the idea that he has more to lose than gain. Crawford has to push his body to its limits to fight at a higher weight.
I need to come back down to 47 and meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He will take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight Benavidez next. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
For now, the fight remains one of the most talked about events in boxing. Riyadh Seasons Turkey. Alalshik has been at the heart of these negotiations, working hard to bring the fight to life, with Canelo defending his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles. Crawford is chasing history. The 37-year-old from Omaha, Nebraska, is stepping up to weight classes in a daring attempt to become a 5-weight world champion. It's a feat that would further cement his legacy, but the task ahead is immense. One boxer who's been vocal about this dream matchup is WBO super lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez.
It's disrespectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight.
No, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
It's crazy when you asking about that, because you say, your match is coming.
Sharing his ideas with S News, Lopez didn't hold back when talking how he sees the fight playing out, while he acknowledged Crawford's brilliance. Lopez eventually gave the edge to Canelo, predicting a late stoppage in favor of the Mexican superstar. "It's a big money fight," Lopez said. "Overall, we'll all be winning seeing those two fight. I think it will be great. I think Crawford is going to give Canelo a hard time in the beginning, but once Canelo gets a little bit relaxed in that ring, adapting to Crawford's style, we see Canelo finishing him off in the late rounds."
Not able to walk through me. Honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally as strong as Terence Crawford. So,
Lopez's prediction matches what many fans and experts are thinking. Crawford may have the skill and sharpness to worry Canelo early, but the sheer size and power of the super middleweight king could be too much for him to handle over 12 rounds. Although there hasn't been an official release yet, rumors were swirling that the fight will be held at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The massive 6,500-seat venue seems proper for a fight of this magnitude. If approved, it will be a spectacle unlike any other, with fans from all over the world flocking to see two legends collide under the bright lights of Sin City as the talk continues to grow. Amir Khan, one of the few fighters to have faced both Canelo and Crawford, weighed in with his thoughts on the battle. Speaking from experience, Khan highlighted the unique challenges both men will face, but allowed that Canelo's size could be the deciding factor. "Canelo is a beast, man," Khan said. "I faced both of those guys, and I feel that size always wins." Having weight divisions, there's a reason behind that. Khan, who suffered a brutal 6th-round knockout against Canelo in 2016, knows better than most just how dangerous it is to step into the ring with someone like Alvarez. While he praised Crawford as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters of his time, he made it clear that the weight difference cannot be ignored. Terence is special, don't get me wrong, but then he's getting hit by a guy like Canelo. Khan continued, "What a fight that would be. Though I'll root for my boy Terence and want him to win that fight, but it would be hard."
He's bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, because you'd have to gain 20 pounds. Yeah. But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, catch weight. You can do something at a catch weight.
Khan also questioned whether Crawford really needed to take such a risky fight at this stage of his career. Does he need that fight? No. I don't think he does. He's done so well in his job and beaten everyone. He's untouchable. One of the best out there pound for pound. But if it's a big payday, I get why it would be made. Why take a risky fight for less money when he can take a seriously hard fight for serious money despite his concerns? Khan didn't shy away from praising Crawford's skill and tenacity. He acknowledged that but has the ability to compete at the highest level, but warned of the dangers that come with stepping up against a bigger, stronger opponent. "We never want to see fighters get hurt," Khan said. The fight presents a unique challenge for both men. For Crawford, moving up to 168 pounds is uncharted territory. While he's had for divisions in his career, he's never faced someone with Canelo's combination of size, power, and experience. For Canelo, the challenge lies in facing a fighter as technically brilliant and adaptable as Crawford, though he's faced elite competition before. Crawford's slick, crafty style presents a puzzle that could be difficult to solve. Fans are torn between excitement and concern. On one hand, the fight is a dream come true. Two of the best fighters of their generation sharing to ring in a bout that will define their legacies. On the other hand, there's the worrying that Crawford may be biting off more than he can chew. Canelo has spent years dominating bigger, stronger men, while Crawford will be entering the ring as the smaller fighter for the first time in his career. Terence Bud Crawford is on the brink of stepping into one of the most ambitious fights in modern boxing history, a showdown against the reigning super middleweight king, Canelo Alvarez. For Crawford, this is more than a title fight. It's a chance to cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time. But can he overcome the size, power, and experience of Alvarez? Many believe the blueprint for his success lies in Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s dominant 2013 victory over Canelo. However, replicating that performance is far easier said than done, and the circumstances have changed drastically since then.
I think Canelo's gonna put the beats on him like Dr. Dre.
Do we get a knockdown from Canelo, or does Bud knock down Canelo?
Nah, Canelo's not going down. You could hit Canelo with a Louisville slugger. You're just gonna smile at you.
They ain't say gonna beat him like the beats of Dr. Dre.
Yeah, he's gonna put the beats on him like Dre.
But why? Because
in 2013, a younger, less experienced Canelo Alvarez experienced the first loss of his career to Floyd Mayweather Jr., the pound-for-pound king. At the time, Mayweather put on a defensive masterclass utilizing his superior ring IQ, pinpoint accuracy, and unmatched footwork to nullify Canelo's offensive arsenal. It was a performance that remains one of Mayweather's most iconic victories. Fast forward to 2025, and that version of Canelo is long gone today. Alvarez is bigger, stronger, and more refined. As a fighter, he has amassed a wealth of experience conquering multiple weight divisions and taking on some of the best in the sport. If the 2013 Mayweather were to face this version of Canelo, even he might struggle to withstand the Mexican star's increased power and ring maturity. Crawford, while a masterful boxer in his own right, faces a monumental challenge in attempting to emulate Mayweather's success. One of the biggest concerns surrounding Crawford's quest to fight Canelo is his lack of experience at super middleweight. Unlike most fighters who test the waters in a new weight class with a tune-up fight, Crawford is diving headfirst into the deep end against one of the hardest-hitting and most physically dominant fighters in the sport. While this approach might seem bold, it also carries significant risks. Crawford's debut at junior middleweight last August against Israel Madrimov was far from convincing. The move up in weight, coupled with his age, soon to be 38, appeared to take a toll on his performance. He looked slower, less explosive, and not as sharp as Crawford, who dominated at lightweight, welterweight, and light welterweight against a seasoned and powerful super middleweight like Canelo, these vulnerabilities could spell disaster. Commentator Oladipo captured the sentiment perfectly in his analysis on DAZN Boxing, stating, "If Terence Crawford is going to have a fight again, and I look at the options on the table, there's no one at 150 for that he wants to fight. There isn't. Crawford seems laser focused on Canelo, bypassing opportunities to gain valuable experience against other top contenders at 154 or 168 pounds, while names like Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz, or Serhii Bohachek might not have the same allure as Canelo. It could have provided Crawford with a chance to acclimate to the new weight class and iron out any kinks in his game. For Crawford, this fight is about legacy, with an undefeated record of 41-0 and world titles, and for different weight classes he has already secured his place among boxing's elite. But to challenge Canelo Alvarez, who boasts an astonishing February 2nd 60 record for the WBC, WBA and WBO super middleweight titles, is a risk unlike any other he's taken in his career. A victory would make him a 5'8" world champion, a feat that few have accomplished, but the price of failure could be steep. Crawford's ambition is admirable, but it also highlights the precarious nature of his situation should he lose badly to Canelo. His pristine record and reputation could take a significant hit, and while fans and analysts respect his willingness to take on such a dangerous challenge, questions linger about whether this is the right fight for him at this stage of his career. As Oladipo pointed out, it's a crazy fight. There's almost too much weight between the two, but hey, this is boxing. The sheer size disparity is one of the most glaring obstacles Crawford must overcome at 5'8" in with a 74 in reach. Crawford has always been a technical marvel, but even his exceptional skills might not be enough to offset Canelo's physical advantages.
We in here working. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat.
Standing at 59 in with a more muscular frame, Alvarez has proven time and again that he can overpower opponents who lack the size and strength to withstand his relentless pressure. If Crawford hopes to succeed, he will need to draw lessons not only from Mayweather's victory, but also from Canelo's other notable fights. Fighters like Gennady Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol have shown that Canelo can be weak when faced with intelligent boxing and disciplined game plans. Golovkin's ability to jab and control distance troubled Canelo in their first meeting, resulting in a controversial draw. Meanwhile, Bivol's unanimous decision win over Alvarez in 2022 was a masterclass in movement, defensive responsibility, and calculated aggression. Bull's strategy of staying disciplined and refusing to engage in unnecessary exchanges helped him to frustrate Canelo and rack up points on the scorecards.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight class.
Crawford has the tools to adopt a similar approach. His ability to switch stances, adjust mid-fight, and control the tempo makes him one of the most adaptable fighters in the sport. However, executing such a plan against Canelo is easier said than done. Alvarez has shown an incredible ability to adapt himself often better. As the fight progresses, Crawford will need to be at his very best both physically and mentally to outthink and outmaneuver a fighter of Canelo's caliber. One of the intriguing aspects of this fight is the role of Turkey, Alashik and Riyadh season in bringing it to fruition. As one of boxing's most important figures in recent years, Alashik has been instrumental in organizing high-profile events that capture global attention. His participation adds an extra layer of significance to the fight as he has a vested interest in ensuring it lives up to the hype.
People will say the most skilled boxer, period, pound for pound right now. So we're talking about skills, nothing else. It's Shakur Stevenson. A lot will say that. Guess who Shakur Stevenson looks up to? Goes to every fight, trains with him, talks about him all the time.
For Crawford, the stakes are even higher. A poor performance or devastating loss could jeopardize future opportunities, especially if Alashik chooses to shift his attention to other marquee matchups. This added pressure only underscores the importance of Crawford delivering a career-defining effort against Canelo. Former heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder has voiced skepticism about Terence Crawford's dramatic leap from welterweight to super middleweight to face Canelo Alvarez. Speaking with S News, Wilder cautions Crawford about the challenges of stepping into a higher weight class against bigger, stronger opponents. 147 to 168, that's way too much. Wilder remarked that although you can switch from southpaw to orthodox, when you're touching those guys that are heavier, it's a different feeling. It's like you're a baby. I'm not saying you can knock anyone out or punish them, but I think it takes more time.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo.
He also noticed the drastic difference in how punches are absorbed at higher weights, adding that moving up in weight, the way punches are absorbed is entirely different than with smaller opponents. Wilder's comments highlight the possible risks. Crawford faces off against the physically dominating Canelo. Well, what do you think? Share your ideas below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.